Things are about to get surprisingly human on this segment as we talk about how small business moves forward, how we lead together in these historic times. We're going all the way out to Cincinnati, Ohio, headquarters of the Kleingers Group. Now, let me tell you very quickly, the Kleingers Group is led by a fellow by the name of Jim Kleingers. It's an engineering firm. They've got offices not only in Cincinnati, but other parts of Ohio. And Jim, I know that people will be delighted to know a little bit about what you folks are doing during COVID-19, but you are the guy in the white hat.
That would be me. Yes. The white hat.
Yeah, you're the leader now faced with, just tell us a little bit, and that's a great way to start. I think it's about 120 or so families you're responsible for. Tell us a little bit, give us some insights with multiple locations, all these families, about what the Kleingers Group has done as an engineering firm to rally around this situation.
Well, thank you for asking, Gary. It has been an adventure for sure. We've been taught we're still in business. We have been established as an essential, or we've been included as an essential business by the governor of the state of Ohio and the governor of the state of Kentucky. We do have a small office down in Louisville. And so we are grateful for that and thankful for that opportunity to remain open and busy in the construction business here in Ohio and Kentucky and elsewhere actually as well. It has been a whirlwind of the last month or so. I guess that would be a great word for it. We have been talking about trying to make the organization capable of working from anywhere, doing anything from anywhere. We've been talking about it for years. We thought there was going to be a lot of need for lots of thought, preparation, rules, procedures, policies, guidance, all those sorts of things for the 100-ish people that are capable of working from home, or we thought would be capable of working from home. But on, I think it was around March the 17th or 18th, we discovered that we would need to cause that to happen in about a week. Ready or not, it's a little bit like getting thrown into the deep end of the pool. Time to swim, folks. We're going to swim or we won't. And I guess what has been really surprising and amazing to me is how well people have been able to adapt so far to it. We are operating pretty close to the efficiencies that we've been accustomed to before. Obviously, the first couple of weeks, we had lots of little bugs and issues to be worked out. Our IT people were amazing. Our HR people were amazing in getting this thing done. But we currently have about, I'd say about 80% of our folks that are now not coming to the office and working from home. And it's been quite an adjustment, but it's the other folks that are in the office are our field surveyor types. They have to go to project sites and still are doing so. We're doing some kind of crazy things there. When we have two people going to a site, they're going in separate vehicles. We've got all the stuff they need. We're taking temperatures. We're logging people in. We're making sure that people are well. The safety of our folks is really important. So
Jim,
I guess that's a little bit about what's going on.
Yeah, and what strikes me, and the little bit that I know about how you operate culturally as an organization, is that you've always believed culture was your best strategy. But are you finding certain things about the culture at Kleingers Group where things are actually improving because you have to work together faster? Be fascinated for other people who are watching to hear your insights on what you're doing to get more cohesion quicker.
Well, it's been interesting. There's been a lot of conversation about personally getting out to the people, and all of our folks have different kinds of thoughts as to how much is enough. Some people are kind of, hey, we don't mind hearing from you once a week. Some people are kind of like, we'd like to hear from you more often. I've been kind of mixing it up in terms of some emails, some Zoom. We had a all company-wide Zoom session here the week before last, Friday before last, that had about 90 people, I guess, on for an hour. Talked about lots of things, where we are, what the impact has been, what our markets are looking like, what I think is going to, what we know or what we suspect may be going on in the future. And I think people are interested in that. We've done some surveying over the past 4 weeks, and it's been interesting. We did have a question, do you feel more connected, less connected, not connected at all, kind of that survey. And we had 9 of our 120 people suggest they feel more connected by being at home. We're encouraging our folks to get together twice a day, asking, the important questions. Hey, what do you got going on today? Do you need anything from me or anybody else, us or anybody else, as a supervisor? And hey, what changed since yesterday, being the big 3 questions that we're asking people in an attempt to make sure that we're not heading down paths we don't want to be going down. And those 3 questions have been pretty effective for us.
That's interesting, Jim. And by the way, you probably overheard Theodore and Sophie were just doing their security job, right?
Well, that's good. They're making sure that nobody breaks in there,
Well,
so
every
good.
time an Amazon delivery person shows up at the door, naturally, Theodore, Sophie, Maggie, they all have to fulfill their security obligations, which I think is understandable. But it also is reflective of this whole new reality of working from home and connecting from home. And so I've got a bit of a story to tell. We met over a year or so ago. And as you know, Jim, these are unedited, unscripted conversations. And,
Sure.
and you left a deep impression on me when you confessed over dinner. I don't know if you recall that dinner we got together for, when you confessed in a very straightforward, very technical engineering fashion, your favorite 4-letter word. And as I recall that night, your favorite 4-letter word was beer.
I do like beer.
Yes, that sort of came out. It just, flowed from the conversation that beer, and then, which is very, a lover of beer is very different than a wine connoisseur, as you know. And then I find out that there's a lot of quirky people on your team that remind me a little bit of the characters from Cheers. Then I see you've got your own pub in your brand new offices, Sharky's North Park Tavern. Kleingers Group has emerged as this company that is both good at math and surprisingly human.
That's a fact.
That's a fact.
Absolutely.
And you're getting, and here's what I think people will be fascinated to know, you're getting a lot of traction happening in the online world from some of your good at math, surprisingly human videos. One of my favorites is the fellow who did the roundabout engineer.
Yep. Absolutely. Yeah. Greg's something else. He is an engineer's engineer, but he is actually a really funny guy. He enjoys doing engineering, but he is creative. And I think he scripted that whole thing, talking to a couple people over lunch, and they said, let's just go out and do this. And it was fun to do.
Yeah. And for anyone watching, if you haven't seen it, it's a roundabout engineer describing how to drive in a roundabout while driving in a roundabout. But here's what I want to get your thoughts on. Okay. Just the other day, Jim, I saw this particular video, and this one is from Lindsay.
Lindsay is trying to work from home.
Exactly. So Lindsay working from home. And again, anyone watching, you want to look this up on the Kleingers YouTube channel, KTV, Kleingers Television. But Jim, speak to this video just a little bit about, I know you saw it, and it must have given you some chuckles, but also I think it does a lot to help, add a little levity to the situation. Smiles travel for miles, and you guys are actually doing that, is what I'm saying.
Yes. It was interesting to see. I knew that we were working on a couple of, new work from home videos. And Lindsay is one of our stars. She is actually works in our marketing department, but she has been featured in several actually of our videos. And it's just maybe there's a little bit of exaggeration here as to what goes on working from home, but we are in fact all having an opportunity to do other things. I see that Lindsay gets a chance to hang out with her dog a little bit. She gets to get up at 7:59 and is at her desk at 8, and it's funny, but that's kind of what's going on with us. Same kinds of things. All of us are getting a chance to do things a little bit differently. We're getting our commute times back. I'm getting a chance on a nice day to go for walks, hanging out, and talking to my lovely wife. It's pretty good deal. Actually getting more work done though, in a weird sort of way, because you're just here,
And I think Jim, because you've had such a successful career and you've been recognized, awarded as a top-notch business leader in Cincinnati, what words of advice would you have right now for any business leader looking to navigate through this, and how to keep spirits and morale high? Because I think you've done a fantastic job, you and your team, but be curious to know what you could share to someone else.
I think it's important to stay in touch with people, and it's okay to adapt. It's okay to change. It's okay to encourage people to change. And people are nervous about it. We had a lot of people that were concerned, but I think that as we've worked through the process, we've supported folks. I think that they're feeling better about our situation. I'm a little interested in seeing what happens next. We don't have all the answers, and we're okay with saying that. Here's what we're trying to do. Here's where we think we're heading. We're gonna adapt and pivot as we need to, as the situation requires it, I guess. We don't take ourselves too seriously. We try to have fun with what we do, and it kind of shows. We have a good group in that regard. So.
Yeah, and you really do, Jim. And I know there's a lot of people you want to thank. Probably, I'm thinking Nathan, Leanne, Lindsay. Who else gets a shout out here today from Jim Kleingers?
Our IT guys just killed it, man. We had that first conversation. Hey, it sounds like we have to get 80 some people out of here. How's that going to happen? And frankly, we didn't have the infrastructure prepared for it. We could VPN, but there was no way we were going to get that many people, due to bandwidth restrictions and all that. So Daryl Barone and Dan McCullough, our two IT guys, went to work looking for software and other ways to do it. We ended up with kind of a Teams viewer sort of an approach, where part of our people are on VPN, part are actually working on their equipment in the office from home, kind of remotely, almost like a terminal sort of a situation. They got that bought up and running within a week. Sam Platt, who is our HR director, spent a lot of time interviewing people within a couple of days. Hey, what do you have at home? What's your capability? What's your internet connection look like? What kind of equipment do you have to try to help coordinate this? And we literally got 80 people out of the office in 4 days. 5th day was a test. Next week we were up and running. It was amazing to me. And you know what? I got to tell on myself. I wasn't here for that week. I was actually had a trip planned out west with my lovely wife months and months and months earlier. And we were supposed to leave on March 12th. That was right before things started blowing up. And we thought, you know what? We're going to go out to Southern California and Arizona and spend 10 days anyway. How bad can it be? I would recommend not going to Southern California when it's closed. It got closed while we were there, and although it was a nice trip anyway. We got a chance to hang out with each other and cook in and drive around a little bit, and that was about it. So,
well, what I'm hearing, Jim, is that there's great value in being very quick to pivot, adapt, and also somehow find a way to don't take yourself too seriously and
Right.
keep the team members close. And I know you've got a fantastic team. I'm thinking of Amy. I'm thinking
Yep.
of, like I say, Leanne, Nathan Moore,
Yep.
Lindsay, so many wonderful people at Kleingers. And Jim, thanks so much for doing this.
Oh, you bet. It's a pleasure. Thanks, Gear. Have a great day. Good seeing
Jim
you.
Jim Kleingers joining us all the way from Cincinnati, Ohio, where yes, they are in lockdown like everybody else, but always finding ways to help us understand there's great value in being not only good at math but surprisingly human and leading together in these historic times.
You bet.